Welcome to Movieman, where we dive deep into the best movies and TV shows. Today, we'll be breaking down an intense and gripping post-apocalyptic thriller, 302, After the Outbreak. This is a story of survival, family, and the terrifying unknown. Let's jump right in. Our film opens with the unsettling quiet of a world after a catastrophic event. The camera pans across a small, dimly lit fallout shelter, where a family of three, Ray, Claire, and their daughter Zoe, have been hiding for months, possibly the only survivors left. Played by Alexander Skarsgård, Andrea Riseborough, and Emily Allen Lind, this small family has learned to survive by adhering to a strict set of rules. Always stay calm, never make noise, and never leave the safety of the shelter. But no matter how safe they try to be, danger is always lurking. The breathers, creatures that hunt relentlessly outside, have come close to finding them multiple times. The family's fear is more than just physical, it's psychological, pushing them to the edge as they try to keep their daughter Zoe safe. Zoe is the heart of this family's struggle. One night, she wakes up in terror after having a nightmare about the breathers. The isolation and fear are taking a toll, especially on her. Despite the growing dread, Ray and Claire do everything they can to maintain a semblance of normalcy for their daughter, but the cracks in their fragile existence are starting to show. The family's situation grows more dire as their already limited food supplies begin to disappear at an alarming rate. At first, it seems like a miscalculation, but soon they discover the culprit. A rat has been sneaking into the shelter and eating their rations. The discovery of the rat is more than just an inconvenience, it's a threat to their survival. But more alarming is how the rat got in. The family traces its entry point to a small air duct they hadn't noticed before. It's a tiny detail, but it sends a wave of panic through them. Ray tries to comfort Zoe, telling her that the breathers are far too large to fit through the air duct. But the fear lingers. The shelter is no longer the impenetrable safe haven they thought it was. As the family grapples with this new threat, the movie shifts into a flashback, showing us where it all began. It's day one of the outbreak, 301 days ago. The world was just starting to unravel. Ray, Claire, and Zoe are fleeing their hometown of Kingsville, desperate to escape the chaos. The outbreak had just begun, and people were trying to get out. But their escape is cut short when they, along with hundreds of others, are stopped at a CDC checkpoint. The CDC has quarantined the area, trapping everyone inside. It's the first sign that whatever is happening isn't something they can simply run away from. There's a sense of mounting dread as the family realizes that there's no easy escape from what's coming. Back in the present, the family's already precarious situation takes a dangerous turn. In the process of killing the rat, Claire manages to end the infestation, but Ray accidentally knocks over one of their lamps, sparking a fire. They manage to extinguish the fire, but it's too late. Smoke has already started drifting up the air duct, a giant signal for anyone, or anything, outside that there's life down here. Worse, when they check the surface, they find that ash from the fire has settled all around the hatch, making their hiding spot far too visible. Their one sanctuary is now compromised, and time is running out. Determined to cover their tracks, Ray and Claire venture to the surface to conceal the entrance to their shelter. Meanwhile, Zoe uses a homemade periscope to scan the area, hoping the breathers haven't found them yet. But her worst fears come true when she spots a humanoid figure in the distance. In a panic, Zoe does the unthinkable. She breaks the most important rule: never leave the shelter, and climbs to the surface to warn her parents. It's a brave but reckless move, and it sets off a chain of events that will change everything. Her warning comes just in time, and the family rushes back into the shelter. But it's too late, they're being followed. The breathers, a nightmarish group of human-like creatures, have found them. Back inside the shelter, tension reaches its peak. The family tries to stay silent, but Zoe's doll, Olive, gets caught on a nearby pipe and activates, making noise. The breathers break in, their ferocity unmatched. It's here that the family's world truly collapses. Ray makes a desperate stand, staying behind to hold them off while Claire and Zoe escape through the air duct. But the fight is brutal. In a gut-wrenching scene, Ray is overpowered, dragged away by the creatures as Claire and Zoe listen in horror. It's a devastating loss. Ray's sacrifice weighs heavily on Claire and Zoe as they flee into the night, unsure of what their future holds. The film jumps to another flashback, giving us a crucial piece of the puzzle. We see fighter jets flying over the family's hometown, bombing it as chaos erupts in the streets. The outbreak was clearly seen as an uncontrollable threat, and the military's solution was to obliterate everything. Claire, Ray, and Zoe managed to escape to the fallout shelter, but not without a cost. In their escape, Claire accidentally cuts herself on a rusty piece of metal. What happens next is a shocking revelation. The blood around her cut is discolored, almost black. They realize that the virus is airborne, and they've already been infected. This changes everything. It's no longer just about avoiding the breathers, it's about fighting the infection that's already inside them. Back in the present, Claire and Zoe continue to flee, but they don't get far. As they make their way down a desolate highway, they're caught in a net fired from a helicopter. At first, they think it's more breathers, but they quickly realize these are soldiers, American soldiers, wearing night vision goggles and rebreather packs. The soldiers test their blood, confirming the infection, and prepare to execute them. But just when it seems like the end, Ray appears, and he's changed. Ray has become something more than human. His veins are dark, his eyes blood.